Manchester United 1, Chelsea 1. The most drawn game in Premier League history lives up to its historic tale. 1-1 it ends, and it feels like a loss. It genuinely feels like a loss because Man United were up for grabs today. The 3 points were on the table, and Chelsea looked so lackluster. So did Man United. It looked like no team wanted it more. They were both very sluggish. It was lethargic. It was very pedestrian at times. We just didn't look up for it. We rested 11 players to play Man United. And yes, I understand that Ten Hag's gone. Ruud van Nistelrooy came in. We know Maresca's man management is normally pretty good. But in this game, Chelsea were just off the mark. Off the mark. Couldn't string passes together. We just couldn't seem to. Like, I looked at the stats, and even though we had majority possession, completed the most passes, it didn't feel that way when we watched it. I feel like Caicedo and Lavia had a fantastic game as them holding 6 positions. It needs to be that needs to be the pairing as much as possible. We found those. I think Enzo did okay when he came on. I'm not disputing that, but I feel like in terms of balance, defensively, that's great. Caicedo had an incredible game. We will get on to Caicedo a little bit later in the video because that man's magic saved Chelsea. Magic Moises Caicedo. We will talk about that incredible goal for sure. So make sure you stick around and watch to the end to hear about that. There's just a couple of things I wanted to talk about. A couple of things that I found while watching this game. I feel like we need to stop the experiment of playing right backs at left back and right back. It just doesn't make sense to me. We're playing Reece James in a left back. Again, he did very well at left back. I'm not saying that he didn't. But we're doing that to accommodate Gusto on the right back. I don't understand why we didn't start Reece James and play Cucurella. And I called this in my pre-match prediction. I was like, I'll play Cucurella. He's one of the best left backs in the league. We rested him. He plays well. He can invert naturally. He can support the left wing. But he didn't play. And we put Reece James left back, Gusto right back. Now, Gusto found a lot of space in the right half spaces in that first half. Time and time again. Acres of space. He just couldn't capitalise on that final ball. He was miles off it. He was miles off it today. His movement was great. Because he was getting in those positions time again. And when we were, switching the ball to get it to him, acres of space every single time. United could not deal with it, but could not punish them in that final third. I feel like Noni did a lot of defensive work today. He did a lot of defensive work, but going forward was a bit meh, which was unfortunate. I thought he was going to have an incredible game. Gusto was obviously booked in the first half and pulled off at half-time. And we did actually see Reece James going to right back, where he just feels and looks a lot more comfortable. So I don't know what Maresca's trying to cook with the left back playing right back and the right back playing left back type thing. Like, I think it works when it needs to, but when we've got a fit left back and a fit right back, just play them where they're meant to be. We need to talk about Robert Sanchez. Robert Sanchez, mate. How... We've got Robert Sanchez, we've got Jorgensen. Jorgensen had a very poor display against Newcastle and made it abundantly clear he's not ready for a Premier League start. But Robert Sanchez, I would take... mate, I'd put Disasi in goal right now. Like, that is how much we do not want Robert Sanchez starting in Premier League games. He had a great game up until the penalty incident. And what I mean by that is he wasn't outstanding, but his distribution was fairly decent. He made some great saves. He collected some crosses. He did everything a goalkeeper should be doing as a standard. And we thought, right, okay, cool. I don't feel as anxious at the back as I usually do, right? I just don't feel as anxious as I do. And then he gives away a silly penalty. Stupid challenge to make. You make any contact with a forward in the box and you don't get the ball, straight pen. I just feel like we just gave them the goal, put ourselves at a disadvantage, and it was... in that second half where we just did not turn up. I felt like we had lots of good passages play. We did create some chances. Neto come very close. Neto had a good game in my opinion. Always looking to be explosive with his pace, beat a man. Noni Madueke did hit the post early on, which any other day could have gone in. And if it did, it changes the dynamic of the game. It's as simple as that. Other than that, like I said, he was relatively quiet. Did a lot of defensive work, though, which I do rate, because a lot of wingers, their defensive work kind of goes under the radar, and a manager will pick up on it, but a lot of fans won't. So I feel like it's only right to say to Noni, like, yeah, like defensive work, I could see him tracking back a lot and trying to do all the dirty work. But going forward, he just wasn't effective. But Cole Palmer tried, but went missing for large parts of this game. Nicholas Jackson, I think all I saw him do was run after the goalkeeper. Like, he just had no service today. No service at all. I think Man United did well to deal with Palmer and Jackson. But at the same time, I don't think we were up to standard. I definitely don't think United were. Like I said, this is one of the softest Man United teams to face in current standings, and we didn't take advantage of it. I feel like Colwell and Fofana were relatively solid for most of the game. I think they had a good game, considering. I think defensively, we weren't too bad. United did create some chances. There was a Marcus Rashford chance at the end of the first half, which hit the top of the bar, which again, any other day could have gone in and would have changed the entire dynamic of the game. But that second half, we were so slow, so poor, so passive, so pedestrian. And it was just disappointing to see, because this isn't the Chelsea Man United games of old. We know that. But there's always a bit of something, a bit of grit in these games. And it just wasn't there. Just wasn't there at all. It took us to concede for us to get going. Now, once we conceded and we got going, we pinned United in their own half. And we were like, right, we need to get back in this game. And a bit of magic from Moises Caicedo saved Chelsea today. Unbelievable volley. Moises Caicedo has been going under the radar for a lot of rival fans and other fans of football for such a long time. He has been consistently good and getting better for nearly a year now. Nearly a year. I've always said, well, I've always said, in recent weeks, the start of this season, from this moment onwards, best DM in the league. And people laugh at me, and I'm like, name me a better DM in the league. Like, name me a better DM in the league right now. There isn't. Rodri's injured. And Declan Rice is a great DM, but I just think Caicedo is better. That volley was unbelievably well hit. Straight into the bottom corner. And one thing I do want to touch on is our set pieces are absolutely atrocious. Corners, free kicks, whether we're defending them or whether it's an offensive version of those. Mate, we've got a set piece coach. Is he just never there? Does he not work on set pieces? Every corner, I think we had 8 corners, and one amounted to something. And that was only because it was cleared and Caicedo volleyed it in. It wasn't like a Chelsea player setting it up. It wasn't. We didn't cause any threat from corners. We had one in the first half when Noni hit the post. Fair enough. But the last 3 or 4 weeks, 3 or 4 games, our set pieces have been so noticeably terrible. And I don't understand what that set piece coach is doing. I also have to talk about how Martinez wasn't sent off for a blatant stonewall red card offence. Do you know what they said during the game? They said there wasn't enough force in the challenge. Studs up into Cole Palmer's knee when the ball had gone over his head. Nowhere near the ball. Nowhere near anything but Cole Palmer's knee. How has that not been given a red? It was given a yellow because there wasn't enough force. I've never heard so much tosh in all my life. Now, I don't regularly complain about referees purely because of the fact I've accepted how poor these referees are in England. We all know the standards need to improve. We see absolute howler decisions every single Premier League game. But that, honestly, made my blood boil. How have they not given that? It makes no sense. Martinez has got away with that. He's got away with that. Studs up into someone's knee when you're nowhere near the ball. How that is given as a yellow card, it genuinely blows my mind. I don't understand what they were thinking. Oh, there's not enough force in it. That doesn't matter. He's made contact. He's made contact with someone's knees with his studs. Not got the ball at all. Ball's nowhere near him. It's over his head because Palmer got there first. Absolutely atrocious refereeing. I said that this feels like a loss because it feels like 2 points dropped. And it actually feels like a bit of a loss, to be fair. But the interesting thing about this is when you look at the league table, we're sitting 4th. We are level with Arsenal. Above Arsenal, but we're level with Arsenal. And that's where I get a bit conflicted because we're in the top 4. Yes, we could have been in there by a couple more points if we'd have taken the 3 points at Old Trafford. And I understand that Old Trafford is a very hard place for us to go and get points. We've not won there in like 11 years, which is just crazy to me. Crazy to me. But we are sitting fourth, so the positives are there. We're sitting fourth. We didn't lose. We did get a point. Cool. It's just deflating because the 3 points were there for the taking, and we just didn't look up for it. I felt like both teams gave the other team too much respect. United were very happy for us to have the ball, were happy for us to play that ball about, and then they would trigger their press, and we would just panic. And it's just, I don't know, it felt like an alien performance from a Maresca side. We've not really seen this. And yeah, we've got Arsenal in the Premier League at the weekend, and we need to step up. We need to step up. It's going to be an incredibly tough game, even though it is at Stamford Bridge. And I know that we were 2-0 up last time we played them at the Bridge last season, and we bottled it and went 2-2, mainly down to Sanchez. But it's not going to be the same as this season. It's going to be a completely different game. New tactics, new manager, new system. We're going to have to be on their A game. Arsenal are wounded right now. No win in the last 3 games. They've got injuries. Again, it's there for us to take if we set up right and we start the game right and we keep that intensity and that tempo up. We can get the 3 points against Arsenal and really give ourselves a cushion into the top 4. A lot of results went our way today, and I'm grateful that we've landed in the top 4 after the United draw, because like I said, it feels like a loss, but it wasn't. It was a draw. We got a point. But just very disappointed in Chelsea today, and it's not me just being negative for the sake of it. It's genuinely how I feel after this game, and it's something that I haven't felt in a long time, really. I felt the same against Newcastle midweek. Oh, it was an absolutely abysmal performance, but again, it's our B team, as people don't like to call it, but it basically is. It's still frustrating because of how much progress we've made this season with Maresca and how well the players have been playing. So to see a performance like this was a bit like just underwhelming, deflating, and it was just there. A lot of people saying it was a nothing game. It didn't have to be a nothing game, you know? There was a lot of opportunities for us to really take this. Like I said, Neto had a chance. Madueke hit the post. We didn't create enough. Moises Caicedo saved us, and I don't want to take anything away from it. It was a wonder strike. It was a hell of a volley. He's just such a good player. He's the number 1 DM in the league, and no one could tell me otherwise. Bit of magic from Moises Caicedo saves Chelsea. It's the headline. He was man of the match, thoroughly deserved. Unbelievable performance from him. But overall, just a bit deflating. Feels like a loss. Should have been 3 points. Wasn't. We take the point, we move into the top 4, and we move into the next game. We have Noah midweek in the Conference League. Hopefully we can bounce back from these last 2 games we've played where we've played poorly, get the win against Noah, take that momentum into the game at the weekend against Arsenal, and hopefully get 3 points. But again, against a team like Arsenal and the sort of disparities of where we are, I take a draw, but only if it's a fought draw that we're coming back from. Not if it's like this game against United where it looked like we just didn't want to be there. Flat, no energy, lethargic, pedestrian. It's not the Chelsea we've been seeing so far this season. So they are my thoughts on the Manchester United 1, Chelsea 1 game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you have different thoughts? Let me know. I love having a conversation with you guys. It is still a point. We're 4th. We take that and we move on this week to bigger and better things, and hopefully we can get some more results under our belt. If you made it this far to the video, there'll be a thumbnail on the screen. If you enjoy Chelsea content, make sure you click it because you'll enjoy that video too. And I shall see you at the next live watch along on my TikTok. Link is in the description.